AP, April 1954, 80 words per minute, 7 minutes. AP, April 1954, నిమిషానికి 80 పదాలు 7 నిమిషాలు. Now write down. In the course of his address to the conference on community projects, the Prime Minister said, "It is not good enough offers to sit in our chambers and decide everything according to what we consider is the good of the people. I think the people themselves should be given the opportunity to think about it, and thus they will affect our thinking as we affect their thinking. In this way, something much more integrated and living is produced, something in which there is a sense of intimate partnership, not in the doing of the job, but in the making of the job, in the thinking of the job. It is true that those of us or those of you who are more trained, who have given more thought to the problem and might be considered to some extent especially suited to that kind of work, are better qualified for thinking out and giving that lead, and you do so. But it is equally true that those who may not be specialists, but for whom you are working and who ultimately are supposed to work it themselves, will not work in the way that we all want them to work unless they feel the mental urge, that trace of the creative spirit in them to think and act. I do consider that the scheme of community projects is something of very great importance, not merely because you can sum up and write down on paper the material achievements of such a project, which I hope will be considerable and good. All the additional food grown, the houses built, schools and dispensaries, better roads, tanks, wells and so on. You can make a list of them, and it is pleasing to see that list, but somehow my mind gropes beyond that list to the man, women or child behind it. The house may be good, but it is the builder of the house that counts ultimately, not the house or even the occupant of the house. Therefore, it is to the builder my mind goes, and we want to make the people of India all builders. So this scheme of community projects appears to me to be something of vital importance, not merely in the material achievements that they would bring about, but much more so because they seek to build up the community and the individual, and to make the latter a builder not only of his own village center, but in the large sense of India. Now, how are you going to proceed about? Naturally, not by vague talk and discussion. One cannot have those plans without a very great deal of careful discussion, and I am glad to say that there has been a good deal of these discussions in the last 2 or 3 months, and it has borne fruit already to some extent. Yet a slight fear seizes me when I see all this planning and organization, that perhaps we begin to think that all this infinite planning and organization is the major part of this business. That is, we begin to think, as many of us are apt to, that we sitting in big buildings and big offices are doing the job. We are doing nothing of the kind. We are only indicating how the job is to be done.